Beneath the bustling streets of Cincinnati lies hidden history, filled with tunnels, forgotten infrastructure, and untold stories. From abandoned subway stations to deep brewery cellars, Cincinnati's underground history reflects ambition, innovation, and the quirks of urban planning. Today, we're actually going to explore what lies beneath the Queen City and uncover the secrets of Cincinnati's forgotten tunnels. We're going to get started with something that even most Cincinnatians don't know about, the subway system. In the early 1900s, Cincinnati was one of the fastest growing cities in the entire country. City planners were dreaming of modern subway systems that could connect downtown to the surrounding neighborhood, keeping pace with the booming population. Construction of the subway actually started in 1920 on a proposed 16-mile loop. It was actually part of the old canal system that used to exist here. The massive infrastructure project was meant to propel Cincinnati into the future. Unfortunately, by 1923, about 7 miles of tunnels had been built, with elevated sections that were actually physically built, but only 2.2 miles of tunnels actually had been completed with railway. Unfortunately though, no trains ever ran on these sections. The ambitious plan was plagued by funding problems of post-World War I inflation, political disputes, and the onset of the Great Depression, of course, in the 1920s and 30s. It eventually led to the indefinite cancellation of the entire subway system. Today, Cincinnati holds the unusual distinction of actually having America's largest abandoned subway system. It's really a sad thing, but it's really cool to tour. Although the subway never physically carried a single passenger, several stations were built and still exist beneath the city. They actually offer tours every once in a while. Notable stations such as Ray Street, Liberty Street, Brighton Place, they're kind of frozen in time. It's really neat, as you can see from the photos. At Liberty Street, for example, portions of the station were later repurposed as a makeshift underground nuclear bunker shelter for the Cold War. Walking through these abandoned corridors is like stepping back into an alternate history, imagining what the city might have looked like had the subway actually been finished. Maps and photos show the original routes of the planned connections of the subway system. It highlighted just how much the system was completed before the work had actually stopped. Really is amazing. For a while, they were actually offering underground tours of the subway system, which go on routinely but occasionally stop. So during COVID, they actually stopped a lot of these subway tours, but keep an eye out. Maybe you'll be able to find one around the Halloween timeframe and you can have some fun and physically tour the subway system yourself. Long before the subway, Cincinnati's underground history was tied to brewing. Beer, as you know, obviously. German immigrants were settled in the neighborhoods like over the Rhine, who built a thriving beer industry in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Before modern refrigeration, brewers dug deep tunnels and cellars beneath the buildings and streets to store and ferment beer at a consistent, cool temperature. These tunnels, often made of brick and stone, kept the beer cold throughout the hot Ohio summers, and are an enduring legacy of Cincinnati's brewing heritage. Today, some of these tunnels are open to the public for tours. You can log on, sign up online, be touring those, and they allow visitors to explore the engineering feats and craftsmanship of the past. It is really cool. Cincinnati's underground also connects to the Prohibition era. While there's limited documentation, of course, as to the extensive underground networks from the speakeasies, we know that the clandestine bars and the hidden rooms did exist and operate in the city during the Prohibition era. Of course, they didn't want people to know about this because it was illegal, but the extent of the brewery tunnels combined with the incomplete subway corridors just created spaces where illicit activity could thrive, feeding mystique of Cincinnati's hidden underground world, which is so cool. It's why this video is so fun. And while many of these stories remain more folklore than they are documented, they reflected the city's secretive underground culture during the 1920s. Today, you can actually go into Ghost Baby, an underground speakeasy off of Republic Street. Ghost Baby is located in a 150-year-old underground lagering tunnel. The space features exposed brick, dim lighting, creative cocktails that pay homage to Cincinnati's brewing history, great music. It is a lot of fun for a date night or maybe a late night, depending on what you want to have fun with. Now let's change gears for a second. Some of Cincinnati's biggest underground secrets weren't just physical, they were political. At the turn of the 20th century, Cincinnati was quietly controlled by George B. Cox, one of the most powerful political bosses in American history. Cox never held the mayor's office, yet he ran the city behind the scenes. Throughout a sophisticated political machine, he controlled jobs, licenses, city contracts, and even the police. Elections were influenced, ballots were manipulated, and political opponents found themselves shut out. It was a crazy time. The same ambition extended across the river as well. In fact, for a brief moment in history, Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky were actually positioned to become America's original version of what is now Las Vegas. With looser gambling laws in Northern Kentucky, Open betting, nightlife, and entertainment flourished all along the riverfront. Money flowed freely and the region attracted risk takers, entertainers, and entrepreneurs. And if history had gone a little bit different of a route, the Ohio River would have been actually hotter than the Nevada desert and might have become the nation's gambling capital. The combination of Cox's political control and the vibrant vice district across the river created a city that's balanced ambition, regulation, and opportunity. Cincinnati didn't collapse under the weight of corruption, by the way. Instead, it actually learned from it. Cincinnati chose a different future. Rather than doubling down on vice and unchecked power, reform movements took hold. Citizens and journalists exposed political corruption until the public scrutiny gradually killed Cox's influence. And here's a little fun fact. Cox's mansion is actually now the Cincinnati Public Library Clifton branch. Across the river, the Prohibition cracked down on gambling and nightlife as well, where the gambling powerhouses fell. Political machines like George B. Cox fell, regulations tightened, and the city leaned into a long-term stability, culture, and livability. Looks a little bit different than you might have expected otherwise. Those underground lies, which were once a symbol of corruption, now sit as a reminder of how far Cincinnati has come. Now let's fast forward to here we sit in 2026. In recent years, there's actually been a renewed interest in the reimagining of Cincinnati's abandoned subways and underground spaces. The city has issued proposals asking for architects and designers for how the tunnels might be used here in 2026 and beyond, how they're going to be repurposed. Ideas include transforming them into arts areas, performance venues, pedestrian and bike pathways, fence spaces, even modern speakeasy style bars. While no official plans have actually been approved yet, these proposals might highlight the potential of underground to connect neighborhoods and new cultural spaces. The abandoned tunnels may yet become an opportunity for innovation. What makes Cincinnati's underground so fascinating is how it reflects the city's changing priorities over more than a century. From bold ambition to reform and innovation, the Queen City continues to evolve. Next time you're walking through downtown Cincinnati, take a moment to imagine what lies beneath where you stand. So, what do you think these tunnels should be used for? Could they become arc spaces, performance venues, speakeasies? We'd love to hear your ideas down in the comments below. We have some ideas, but we'd love to hear from you. Maybe somebody will be reading this and might actually take your advice. And if you're ready to discover your perfect Cincinnati neighborhood, our team, Oyler, Hines, and I would be happy to help you out. We know these areas inside and out. We even know what's underground, which neighborhoods are transforming fastest, where the best value opportunities are, and how to time your purchase for maximum advantage. Just shoot us an email at hello@oylerhines.com. Heck, you can even message us down below. We'd be happy to reach out, help you out in the best way we can. In the meantime, you can also click and subscribe below. We'd love to share our future content with you. We hope you really enjoyed this video. On to the next one.